Have you ever felt that, in less than 5 minutes, your will began to fade, and you didn't even know how it happened? It's no coincidence. It's an invisible ambush, executed by minds trained in the art of manipulation. They say the devil is in the details, but the truth is darker. The real manipulator doesn't need hours or even days. He just needs your first few minutes of attention, and you naively offer it to him wide open. Sound exaggerated? Look at your own memory. How many times did you say yes when you meant no? How many times did you share a secret that you later regretted? Most think of mind control as science fiction, but the real manipulation is more subtle. It feels like a conversation, like a look, like a simple smile. And before you can defend yourself, they've already planted the seed. In this video, I'm going to strip you into the mind of a manipulator, revealing the 5 things they do in the first few minutes. Not for you to become just another victim, but for you to take the helm and start influencing the decisions of others. Because influence is not a gift, it is a choice. And only those who understand the rules of the game can change it. But be careful. Listening to this can make you see people, and yourself, in a way you never imagined. Because manipulation is a mirror. It forces you to confront your own tendency to please, your fear of rejection, your craving for acceptance. You are not weak. You were just programmed to obey, to put your head down, to give ground to the first one who dares to press the right buttons. Now, imagine what you could achieve if, instead of being manipulated, you were the one who understood and applied these techniques. Imagine the authority, the respect, the credit you could claim. It's uncomfortable to accept that power is hidden in the smallest details, but that's where true mastery lies. And it all starts in the first few minutes. Ready to see the hidden mechanism behind every interaction? Take a deep breath. There will be no turning back. The first thing a manipulator does in the first few minutes is so simple that almost no one detects it. He creates an emotional microclimate, an atmosphere charged with meaning but invisible. It's not about words, it's about energy. The manipulator calibrates your mood, your tensions, your insecurities, and subtly begins to adapt his tone, his breathing, his body language to synchronize with you. There are no coincidences here. If you feel comfortable, vulnerable, anxious, or intrigued, it is because someone has designed it that way with surgical precision. The second move, the sowing of doubt. The manipulator knows that an insecure mind is fertile ground for control. That is why in the first few minutes he introduces, almost unnoticed, seemingly innocent questions, ambiguous comments, or strategic silences. Thus, it forces you to question yourself. Am I saying the wrong thing? Am I living up to it? Does this person really like me? It's not about attacking you directly, but about destabilizing your emotional center of gravity. When you doubt yourself, you give up power. And when you give up power, the manipulator moves forward. Third technique, the dark mirror. Here, the manipulator reflects your own words, gestures, and emotions, but slightly distorted. If you smile, he smiles. If you frown, he frowns. But in those little reflections there is a nuance. You get back a version of yourself that is more dependent, more eager for approval. You feel like you're understood, that you're heard. But in reality they're just feeding your need to belong. This is the point where emotional identification becomes a weapon. The more you see yourself in the other person, the easier it is for you to accept their influence. Fourth maneuver, the calculated concession. The manipulator gives ground on something trivial, agrees with you on a minor point, or shows a perfectly chosen vulnerability. This is not humility, it is strategy. By showing you fragility, he lowers your defenses. You feel that there is reciprocity, that you can trust. But, at the right moment, this apparent weakness is transformed into leverage. Because now you feel responsible for not hurting, for not making you uncomfortable, for reciprocating. And so, you begin to negotiate with yourself, conceding much more than you should. Fifth and final action, emotional anchoring. Before you can process what is happening, the manipulator launches a story, an image, an emotionally charged phrase. It can be nostalgia, guilt, pride, or fear. This anchor is left floating in your mind, conditioning how you perceive everything that comes after. You don't forget it even if you don't understand it. And, without realizing it, you begin to make decisions that are not really yours. Are you surprised by the accuracy of these tactics? It should. Because manipulation is not magic. It's science, it's art, it's psychology applied to the millimeter. Now that you've seen the 5 things a manipulator does in the first few minutes, the question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Because true freedom begins when you learn to see the hidden mechanism, and decide if you want to be one of the herd or the master of your own destiny. Ready to discover how to use, deactivate, and master these weapons in your daily life? Don't look away. The most intense part is yet to come. You've seen the mechanism. You felt the chill of recognizing it in your own experiences. But now you're faced with the real dilemma. How do you disarm a manipulator without falling into an even more dangerous game? The answer is uncomfortable. It's not enough to know, you have to act with surgical precision. Because manipulation, like poison, is only lethal when you don't recognize the taste. And this is where the real power yours begins to emerge. The first step in reversing the dynamic is silence. The manipulator expects your immediate reaction, your need to fill in the blanks with explanations, apologies, or justifications. But when you choose strategic silence, when you don't respond instantly, you generate uncertainty in the other. You reverse the psychological pressure. And although it may seem counterintuitive to you, silence well used is a statement of power. It is the pause that disarms, the absence that discomforts, the space where the manipulator begins to reveal his true intentions. Second, conscious observation. While others fall into the trap of the emotional mirage, you train your eyes to detect the nuances, the micro-expression of impatience, the change of tone when you mention your limits, the choice of words that seek to sow doubt. Every detail is a clue, every reaction a door to understanding the hidden agenda. The manipulator hates to be watched because he knows that the light reveals the cracks in his mask. This is where you transform from prey to predator. He who observes, dominates. Third, the subtle return. Do not attack head-on. Don't accuse or confront. Instead, respond with open-ended questions, invite the other to explain their intentions, return responsibility for each statement. Why do you think that's important? Where did that idea come from? What do you hope to accomplish with that? These questions not only destabilize the manipulator's strategy, they put you in the position of the one who is leading the conversation, without raising unnecessary defenses. Remember, manipulation only thrives in self-reactive environments. When you introduce reflection, you open cracks in their script. Fourth, managing your own internal narrative. The manipulator feeds on your need for approval, your fear of conflict, your open wounds. But when you recognize these patterns in yourself, when you understand that your vulnerability is just learned programming, you regain control. You are not the sum of your impulses or your traumas. You are the narrator of your own story, and you can decide what chapters to write from now on. Self-compassion and self-observation are your first lines of defense. The conscious decision not to give in to emotional blackmail is your ultimate weapon. Fifth, the creation of scarcity. The manipulator thrives when he believes he has total access to you, your time, your attention, your emotions. But when you demonstrate that your presence is limited, that your energy is valuable, that not everyone can access your intimacy, then you reverse the urgency. Now, it is the other who starts to chase you, to negotiate, to try to get your validation. Scarcity is not indifference. It's the silent declaration that your value is not for sale. Can you feel the change? The tension in the air, the reversal of roles. Now, not only do you understand how manipulation works, you begin to master it. Make no mistake, this knowledge is not to abuse but to protect you, to influence ethically, to stop being a spectator and become a protagonist. Ready to discover the ultimate secret, the one that distinguishes those who manipulate from those who lead? That leaves the final part. And believe me, you won't want to miss it. You've reached the threshold. This is where most stop, paralyzed between the desire to control and the fear of losing themselves. But you have advanced, and now you deserve to know the ultimate secret. What separates the manipulator from the true leader is not technique, not intelligence, not even audacity. It is consciousness. A manipulator operates from the shadows, using fear, guilt, and doubt as tools. A leader, on the other hand, dares to look in the mirror, to confront his or her own shadows, and to act from a place of brutal integrity. The manipulator seeks obedience. The leader seeks transformation. The manipulator craves credit and immediate control, even if it means destroying bridges. The leader, the authentic one, understands that real influence is a flow that returns multiplied. It's not about winning every battle, but about creating an environment where people evolve, where decisions are born out of respect and not fear. The difference, although invisible, is abysmal. The manipulator needs to be the center. His energy feeds on the submission of others. The leader, on the other hand, is the catalyst. His presence inspires, discomforts, removes masks. Where the manipulator installs doubts, the leader plants questions that awaken. Where the manipulator demands loyalty, the leader provokes self-knowledge. And that, in the long run, is a far more dangerous and enduring power. Now the choice is yours. You can continue to use these 5 techniques to seek immediate advantage, to win arguments, to gain favors, to manipulate from the shadows. Or you can take a deeper leap and become someone who influences because you know yourself, because you are not afraid of the truth, because you understand that real power is the ability to transform, first your own mind, and then the minds of others. Here in this channel we do not give you easy recipes or empty promises. This is a space for those who have suffered from control, but now wish to learn to control their own destiny. For those who are tired of being programmed, and are ready to deprogram their own limiting beliefs. Here, knowledge is a weapon and consciousness, your only escape from the matrix. If you made it this far, it's not by chance. You sense that there is something beyond the social theater, that true freedom demands looking into the darkness, inside and out, without blinking. That's the price of real influence. And if you're willing to pay it, this channel will be your refuge and your laboratory. Now, one last question, are you going to stand by and watch, or are you going to take control? If you want more uncomfortable truths, more psychological weapons, more ways to get out of the matrix and reclaim your power, subscribe now, turn on notifications and dive into the other videos. Because here, every word is a mirror, and every video, a door that only the brave dare to cross. Do it. Your new life, and your true power, starts now.